Anthony Quinn, known for his outspoken opinions on the film industry, has finally broken his silence on Charles Bronson. Quinn has lived a life that is a classic example of reinvention. Anthony Quinn was born Manuel Antonio Rodolfo Quinn, Oaxaca, on April 21, 1915, in Chihuahua, Mexico. Quinn's upbringing included him being born to a father of Irish origin and a Mexican mother. Quinn's childhood years were overcome by poverty. To take care of his family, Quinn had to resort to physical labor, which included activities like boxing and construction. His difficult upbringing helped Quinn make the characters in his films authentic. One of Quinn's most important experiences in life occurred through his passion for art and architecture. He studied under the renowned architect Frank Lloyd Wright, who recognized Quinn's expressive power and unique presence. Quinn received encouragement to become an actor from no less a person than Frank Lloyd Wright, who guided Quinn to become one of the most popular stars of Hollywood. Quinn started his acting career in the 1930s and was generally restricted to small or stereotypical ethnic parts, owing to the limitations of times. But he persisted in improving his acting skills and wanted to overcome typecasting. He got his big break in the early 1950s and showed remarkable acting talent, which could no longer be overlooked for its depth and complexity. His earliest major success was in Viva Zapata in 1952, where he played Eufemio Zapata, the hot-headed sibling of revolutionary Emiliano Zapata. It was for this film that Quinn received his initial Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, becoming the first Mexican-born actor to win the Oscar. His success in winning his second Oscar in 1956 for his outstanding and very emotional portrayal of the painter Paul Gauguin in Lust for Life reinforced his position in the film industry as a very serious actor with immense emotional potential. Anthony Quinn's career achieved iconic proportions through his unforgettable performance as Alexa Zorba in Zorba the Greek in 1964. This performance was instantly identifiable with Quinn, full of exuberance, philosophical musings, passion, and vitality. His performance earned him a nomination for Best Actor and brought him new fans in a new generation of viewers across the globe. Zorba was more than just a character. In fact, he came to be a symbol of all that is joyful and resilient and human, which was much like Quinn's perspective on life. Quinn performed in over 150 films during his lifetime. He also played ecclesiastical and religious characters, such as Jesus Christ in La Strada, Barabbas in 1961, and Auda Abute in Lawrence of Arabia in 1962. Every role that Quinn played was marked by his ability to add strength and nuance through his performances. He had a rare knack of projecting strength and vulnerability simultaneously in his performances, and through that, he left an indelible mark on audiences worldwide. But apart from acting, Quinn was also a skilled artist, sculptor, and author. His paintings had been showcased in art galleries all over the world, showcasing his admiration for beauty in every form and expression. Quinn believed that art was not to be confined to only one type, and he applied himself to the pursuit of art with the same fervor that he applied to acting. His writings, which included biographies, gave a glimpse into the mind of a man who was constantly searching for answers to the questions he had about identity, purpose, and the meaning of success. The personal life of Anthony Quinn was as vast and intricate and full of passion as his characters have been on screen. All of his marriages and romantic involvements have spanned several decades and have been a reflection of his deep commitment to his family and his inability to control his restless and impulsive personality. Quinn was married to Catherine DeMille, an actress, in 1937, and through her, he linked up with the Hollywood aristocrats. Catherine DeMille was the adopted child of Cecil B. DeMille, one of the most influential people in Hollywood. To Quinn, who had spent many years of his life in poverty and had faced rejection, the proposed marriage was a source of emotional security and opportunities. Through the DeMille family, Quinn acquired connections, but he had not given up on achieving through hard work. Anthony and Catherine had 5 children and appeared the picture-perfect family. Catherine was devoted to building a loving and supporting home for Quinn even as his acting talents transitioned from supporting to major roles. However, his explosive personality and drive for life affected his domestic relationship. With his rising popularity came the reputation for womanizing. Eventually, as he aged, his infidelity was openly confessed as the result of impulse and the never-ending need for excitement and feeding his ego. These occurrences had created a lot of distress and had dented the trust level between the two individuals. After nearly 3 decades of successful life, together riddled with resentment, the couple divorced in 1965 and thus snapped the chapter of his life. In 1966, just a year after his divorce, Anthony married Yolanda Adalori, an Italian costume designer many years younger than him. Yolanda introduced a European aesthetic and artistic temperament into Anthony's life, at first making him feel young again through their relationship. Anthony married Yolanda and had 3 children. At times, Anthony appeared committed to making a life through Yolanda and balancing life in both Hollywood and Europe. Yolanda was very much involved with him in his daily life. Sometimes, she was left to handle domestic affairs, while Quinn was engaged in acting, painting, writing, and extensive traveling. Though there seemed to be some normalcy about this marriage too, Quinn's failure to remain committed to one woman was very sharply reflected here as well. In fact, during this marriage to Yolanda, Quinn was linked to yet another woman named Friedel Dunbar. He had children with her too. Quinn's other love life had now become very public. However, aside from his long-term affair, Quinn has also been rumored to have been involved in romantic entanglements with some of Hollywood's most celebrated actresses from its golden age. The names Carole Lombard, Rita Hayworth, Ingrid Bergman, and Maureen O'Hara come to mind as just a few of the many actresses rumored to have had romantic trysts with him. Regardless of whether they were short-term or long-term events, they all led to his characterization as the charismatic and deeply flawed romantic. However, in the 1990s, after nearly 30 years of married life, his relationship with Yolanda Adalori had become irreparably damaged. The last straw was his romantic affair with his secretary, Catherine Benvin, which for the 3rd time produced 2 offspring. All this took its toll on his relationship with Yolanda, leading to their eventual split in 1997. The divorce was acrimonious and very public, indicative of the gradual erosion caused by years of unresolved conflict. Following the end of his second marriage, Anthony Quinn went on to marry Catherine Benvin, consolidating a relationship that had already fundamentally impacted his personal life. Whatever his advanced years, Quinn actively engaged with his family, embracing the role of fatherhood once more, proud of his offspring. His final marriage was a complex combination of continuity and contradiction, symbolic of his continued need for friendship and a desire for a family, yet evidencing the habits of a lifetime. For many decades, Anthony Quinn was often asked about his legendary contemporaries, although he was remarkably tight-lipped when the discussion was about Charles Bronson. Both actors were regularly paired in discussions, tough physical actors who exuded manliness and danger. It was only in his later years that the actor finally decided to open up about Charles Bronson, his thoughts about the man being neither lurid nor trivial, but telling. Quinn recognized that people were wrongly interpreting Bronson's image in films. According to Quinn, everyone thought of Charles as an unbreakable wall of stone, but all that was external armor. But behind that armor, I think you'll find a man who clawed his way from nothing, Quinn attests. Quinn also spoke about Bronson's reputation in the industry as a tough and unapproachable individual. Quinn admitted that Bronson was a guarded person, but had reasons for it. If you are a person who comes out of adversity, Quinn stated, then giving your trust does not come easily. Bronson's tough exterior was not about ego, but self-protection based on a lifetime of learning that it can be exploited. Though there were many likenesses between them, Quinn identified many differences that made Bronson a loner who liked to be alone and quiet, while Quinn himself loved a mess, a crowd, and a noise that surrounded him. But Quinn never thought for a moment that Bronson's behavior made him an arrogant person. Rather, it helped him retain his control in an industry where people were expected to conform to a marketable image of themselves. Perhaps the strongest observation came from Quinn regarding Bronson's legacy. Quinn felt that Bronson had become an emblem, not of violence or revenge, but of the working man who refused to be beaten. He felt that Bronson was relatable because viewers felt that there was an everyman quality about him that looked like they had really lived through what their characters went through. While breaking his silence, Quinn was clear on the fact that his statement was not an attempt to mythologize Bronson, but to humanize him. His conclusion was that while Bronson was not flawless, his power was honest, and this kind of honesty was a rare phenomenon. This way, a very respectful tribute was given by Anthony Quinn, not from gossip or competition, but from shared knowledge. In the quiet twilight of his own life, Anthony Quinn stepped back from the spotlight of Hollywood and found solace in the seaside town of Bristol, Rhode Island. It was there that he cherished his seclusion, contemplation, and the majestic view of Narragansett Bay. Quinn died on June 3, 2001, at Boston, at the age of 86. He had succumbed to respiratory failure, resulting from complications associated with radiation treatment for lung cancer. His passing brought the end of an extraordinary life that had stretched across continents, cultures, and indeed, across film generations. Fans worldwide bade farewell to a man they had come to feel was bigger than life, tough, passionate, and deeply human, both on and off the screen. The funeral of Quinn was conducted at the First Baptist Church of America on College Hill, a place of quiet elegance, befitting a man whose life seemed almost legendary. In this very personal final gesture, his wife asked for one final favor, to be laid to rest not in an official graveyard, but in that place he loved most, his own backyard in Bristol. It was a home he and his wife bought back in 1995 for its tranquility and its perfect view of the bay. It had become his haven. It was around that old maple tree that stood guard over that piece of property for so long that Anthony Quinn was laid to eternal rest.